Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the CFL podcast, man, where we got to talk about that amazing production from Barstool for the season 2, episode 1 of Coach Prime's documentary. It was really good, really well put together. Shout out to Dana Beers, shout out to Barstool. They do an amazing job. I think they can go into depth a little bit more with some of the stuff that they do, but overall, they always do a great job. So we're going to recap it, talk about what stuck out to me, what stuck out to y'all. I'm going to open up the call line so y'all can call in and everything like that. But of course, let me address the obvious. I've been gone for like more than a week, and I can't really tell y'all everything, right? But some stuff happens. Life happens. Some stuff happens. And the health of a family member was in question, and it kept me away for a little while, for that week and a few days. But everything's fine with that person. It's all good now. We're back. So like everything, I'm telling y'all, everything's good now. I'll be back. You'll be seeing a lot more of me, and everything's good. So if you reached out to me on social media and I wasn't hitting you back, it's nothing against you. I promise. I don't dislike y'all or anything like that. Everything's fine now. It was just during the moment, things wasn't just going so well. But I'm happy that I'm back. I'm happy that I get to talk to y'all again. And, let's get into it. Let me tell y'all some of my thoughts before I open up the call lines and we talk about this, because I want to hear y'all's thoughts, right? So let's talk about my thoughts on episode 1. Number 1, this is needed. We need this kind of insider to the JSU program. Because, see, when we talk about Coach Prime and we talk about Jackson State, really building themselves up and taking HBCUs to the highest of the high. These are things that we have to start with. Like this kind of insider, this kind of all access that you give for free to the fans and to the recruits, that's bare minimum. Like, understand the reason why Alabama, Clemson, Georgia, Baylor, the reason why they're able to win in recruiting, it's not just because of the name, it's not just because of the coaches or the facilities, but sometimes it's really just a cool look to let these kids see inside your program, not only the kids, but the fans as well. Let them see inside the program what goes on behind the scenes, because that is the content that the fan base craves. Okay, that's why you see Florida with the Swamp, right? Like their little insider all access. That's why you would see Baylor with the ESPN all access. Clemson has blogs. You feel me? Like they have blogs on their freshmen moving in, two-a-days, what they're eating in between practices. Like Clemson blogs everything for their football team. And of course, Alabama lets you in to Nick Saban actually training these kids. You feel me? So this type of thing goes a long way when it comes to getting these recruits. It comes a long way for building up your fan base, right? And just you just overall, you got to have a bigger social media representation. And shout out to Coach Prime and Jackson State for partnering with Barstool to do so. Also, I want to see this for more schools. Hugh Jackson, I know Hugh Jackson is going to do big things, right? Because their media team is already great. FAMU as well. But I want to see them do this as well. I do not want this just for Jackson State. And we know FAMU had that whole thing with ESPN, but I'm talking about like them doing it for themselves, like on their channel. I want to see this happen for more SWAC schools, MEAC schools as well. So that was my first thing, right? This was much needed. Also, there's truly an expectation at Jackson State, and I'm seeing that now. It's an expectation. You see, Coach Prime, like you said in the documentary, he don't mind giving you what you need. He don't mind the helmets, the jerseys, the new uniforms, the practice field, because you needed it, right? Everything. Like, he doesn't mind having the celebrities on the sidelines and coming to talk to you and everything like that. He'll give you that. He'll give you that. But he expects something in return. That program expects something in return. They expect production. They expect greatness. And when you do not live up to your side of the bargain, there are consequences for that. And you see, like him not playing favorites, talking to Shiloh, like, hey, you need to do better, right? Coach Mark and Coach Prime getting on the offensive line, but looking like they didn't even really want it during the few clips that we seen in the documentary. You know, a lot of those things are pushed to the forefront. And we see now that, you know, they'll give you what you want. They'll give you all the flash, but you have to contribute. If you do not hold up if you don't hold up your side of the bargain, it's not going to go well for you. And I'm going to just segue for a little bit. If you remember back in the early 2000s with the famous USC team with Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart, Lindell White, all those guys, that amazing team, arguably one of the greatest college football teams that they've had, right? And Pete Carroll as the head coach, Snoop Dogg on the sidelines. It was star-studded. It was flashy. You had the celebs at practices. You had the celebs at the games. Snoop Dogg in the locker room rapping on the sideline during the games and all that. I have no problem with Coach Prime making this program into that. But where Pete Carroll messed up at was that he let it get out of hand, right? Like he didn't have enough discipline. Coach Prime brings the best of both worlds. And we see that now. He brings the best of both worlds. So you can have the flashiness, we can be cocky and all that good stuff, but we're also going to put in the work behind the scenes, which a lot of people don't see, right, until they let you see it. But we're going to put in the work behind the scenes to make sure that it doesn't get to our head. One thing you have to credit Coach Prime for, he does not let kids get too in their head and too cocky. He will bring you back down real quick and humble you, as big of a guy as he is and a big of a star as he is, because he knows what could happen. So that's that. Now, the culture development would be the third thing that I noticed in episode 1, from the spring up until now. You see the culture development, and the reason why I bring that up, right, is Aubrey Miller, right, for him having 4 Fs in the spring, which is ridiculous. I mean, my God, but having 4 Fs to come in and being on the honor roll, right, him realizing that he has to get his stuff together, that this isn't Missouri anymore. Things is not going to be handed to you. Work ain't going to be done for you, which, I mean, if we're being real, those Power Fives let you get away with a lot. It's not going to happen here. You're going to have to put in the work in the classroom, on the field, and outside of the classroom, in the field, just as a person. And Aubrey took that, right? You see him not talking back anymore. You just see him being an overall better player and a better person. And, he's much more well received by the team, and he's much more liked by the team. Even Coach Prime said, he's coming along slowly but surely, which a coach is going to say that, but you can see there's a big change that was made from the spring with Aubrey until now. And I, for one, love to see it. I love the fact that he's on the honor roll and doing much better. And last but not least, for my end, right, the O-line. See, now we get that in-depth look to the O-line, because a lot of us blame the offensive line coach. And I kind of knew it. I'm not going to say I knew, right? But I figured it wasn't him. Looking at those, granted, they only showed a few clips. But from what I seen, they didn't look like they wanted it. Like, you see the defense going hard. They rah-rah. They all hype in practice. You got Shiloh talking to Nuggets. Who we know is going to be drafted, right? Hey, you can't let him make the back shoulder catch, right? You got to do this. You're going to get in trouble for that. Like, they holding each other accountable. They hyping each other up. They want it on a daily basis in practice. When you see the offensive line, them boys don't care. They walking around. They watching the play happen. They doing all this, and coach has to consistently get on them. Coach Mark yelling at them boys the way that he did, love it, because that's just fantastic coaching. But it just showed me, and just the way that they responded to him yelling the way that they did, it showed me, I was like, nah, they aren't the group. And now you see why Jackson State went out and got all of these offensive linemen that they did in the offseason. The Semi Moalas, the Evan Henrys, Zach Bros from, the 2 guys from ULM, Vardaman from UAB. This is why you go out and you get these kids, the Christian Hendersons, because you don't have time to put up with it. A coach is, and I have no doubt in my mind that Coach Mark is a great offensive line coach, but there is only so much you can do. There's only so much you can do, so much you can teach, you can show them how to do it, but at the end of the day, some athletes just aren't going to respond to your coaching. And that's just the reality of the situation. So we're not going to see a lot of those guys starting for Jackson State next year. I'm pretty confident in saying that. Tony looks like he buys into the process. So Tony definitely has a fighting chance, but nobody's job is guaranteed, and that offensive line is going to be the most newest thing about that team next year. Now, before I open up these call lines, right, the Jackson State schedule, I seen it because a lot of y'all tagged me in it, and thank y'all for doing so. So I'm gonna talk about the Jackson State schedule just for a little bit. I was so ready to go in on Jackson State when that fake schedule come out, and I saw that they had the Division II school. I think the Dragon was a logo. Lane College, is that their name? I was so upset and I was so ready to go off. I had the live ready. I was gonna make a video. You know, a lot of y'all seen my post like I was ready. Then y'all was like, nah, hold out, chill. That ain't the real one. And then I see the real one and I see Campbell. And I absolutely love it. See, I have no problem that the rest of the games on that schedule is SWAC opponents. I don't care, whatever, right? I just wanted to see them. I wanted to see how they stack up versus an FCS team that isn't an HBCU. And they did that. And keep in mind, Campbell, although they weren't that good last year, that was mainly because they were a young team. They were a really young team last year, right? But this is a school who is a formidable opponent. Make no mistake about it. So the fact that they went out and scheduled them for homecoming is something that I actually loved that Jackson State did. And I want y'all to also keep in mind that although Jackson State has the best FCS class, Campbell has the #1 high school recruiting class. High school. So, you know, they did get that 4-star defensive lineman, if I'm not mistaken, straight out of high school. So this is a formidable opponent that Jackson State will be facing on homecoming. So this ain't no weak schedule by any means. Now let me come to my last point about this weak schedule stuff that a lot of the people be talking about in the SWAC schools. How exactly is the schedule weak when your school is on it? Help me understand that. Please tell me how you can sit and call Jackson State schedule weak when you're on the schedule. I do see. This is what I mean when I say they always move the goalposts for Jackson State. Always. Like, listen, you're gonna say, oh, you got the #1 recruit, you got the #1 slot receiver, and you're just playing SWAC schools this week. #1, you're talking bad about your own school. That's stupid in itself, right? But here's my thing. Weren't y'all the same ones that said in the offseason, just a few weeks ago, weren't y'all the same ones that said, we recruit too. We got a lot better. We got 4 stars too. Look what we're doing in the offseason now. It's not just Jackson State. No, look who we got. Look at the FBS transfers that we got. We got Power 5 guys too. It's not going to be easy for you next year. Alabama A&M has loaded up. Oh, Grambling is coming for the spot. So if y'all have gotten that much better, this is coming from y'all. If y'all have gotten that much better because of these recruiting classes, how is the schedule weak? Would that not make y'all better opponents? Because this is coming from y'all. This is coming from fans who aren't JSU. If you have gotten that much better from last year, how is the schedule weak if you're back on it with better talent? I'm just saying. That's just me. All right. You know, that's how I know a lot of y'all just want to hate on JSU. But I'm going to go ahead and open these call lines up because I want to hear y'all thoughts on episode 1. Let's talk about it. Let's discuss it. All that. So let me open up the call lines real quick. Let me open this up.
You are the only participant in the conference.
All right, there we go. It's open. Y'all call in. Let me know what you think, because I'm really interested to see some takeaways that I might have missed, some things that I might have missed that y'all have noticed about the thing. Okay, we got somebody already. Let's get it going.
Johnny, Mr. Ford. Hello?
Hey, Mr. Ford, you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Oh, all right, let me get started here. Okay, first of all, what that documentary showed was that Miami put out the red carpet for both of these schools. It was first class accommodations.
Mm.
Second of all, Jackson State basically played in 2 bowl games. There are Power 5 schools and other schools who would love to have played in that game in Miami and in Atlanta. So once again, Jackson State basically played in 2 bowl games.
Right.
That Orange Blossom Classic for them was a bowl, and the Celebration was a bowl.
Mm.
Let me say this too. When you talk about what you saw as far as offensive line, see, Jackson State's best coaches are on the defensive staff. What they don't have on that offensive line, and like you said, now I'm going to be honest with you, CFL, I did call for the removal of the offensive line coach. And the reason is I didn't see them get better during the year. And you're right, I didn't see any heart. I thought the best game was Alabama A&M and Alabama A&M only. I'm going to be honest with you. The game where that offensive line really got their ass whooped was when they played that Division II school called Delta State.
Mm-hmm.
They behind.
Right.
Now, let me say this too now. One of the problems I have with that offensive line, but that offensive line was not motivated. That's what I saw the whole year. And let me end with this. Has had an outstanding recruiting class. Now, y'all think that Campbell just going to come in there and lay down? It ain't going to be like that now.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be like that.
At all.
So what I'll say to you, CFL, if any of your people got questions for me, I'm right here. Did you have any questions for me?
Not at the time, but if I do, I'm going to let you know in the chat, Mr. Ford. Thank you for the call.
Okay, thank you.
All right, now. Yo, once again.
All participants are muted, and they can unmute themselves.
Now listen. Once again, Mr. Ford with the great insight. All right. One thing Mr. Ford said that I really want to get into. Campbell ain't gonna lay down for y'all. And he's right about that. They ain't gonna lay down for y'all. Which is why I say I love the fact that you went out and you actually got a competitive FCS school for homecoming nonetheless, right? Because you really took that risk for homecoming, and I love that you did it. I think this is definitely a winnable game for Jackson State because of your talent and how it matches up versus Campbell. But Campbell ain't gonna lay down. They're a young team. They're a feisty team. They got a lot of speed at their receiver position. As a matter of fact, I think one of their receivers, Cam Bent, he was the fastest player out of South Carolina. Actually went to my old high school. So runs like a 4.2, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, runs a 4.2. He went to my old high school. He's at Campbell now. He's there. So I really want to go to that game in person just so I can see those guys go at it and see how Cam plays. But yeah, Campbell has some guys, man, and they not gonna lay down for y'all. So please be ready. Hold on. I think we got a caller. Let me see. All right, caller, you live. Talk to me.
Hey, what's up, Quay? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, good. This is Rennie, and I just want to add a little bit to what Mr. Ford said. He's so right, because the fake schedule that we were looking at, it had UAPB on it, and it had Lane College. Obviously, we know TSU is an upgrade from UAPB.
Right.
Right? And then Campbell, they have a lot to prove, especially with this young core, especially with the fact that they're coming back, and they know as they're going to come with a fire.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And based on that alone, I'm giving this schedule at a minimum B+, possibly A-, but I'll say B+ for now.
Mm. And why? What makes it a B+?
Well, the reason why I say B+ is because I probably would have given it an A- or an A if we also saw like an FBS school. But I mean, I know given the fact that they wanted to play TSU for the first time or whatever the case is. Mm-hmm. But even though all these all these other SWAC schools, they got a lot better.
Right.
And Grambling is not be a cakewalk either. You got better coaching, better talent. Willie Simmons is coming with the fire. Mm-hmm. So I'm giving it a B plus. I want to give it an A minus, but for now I'll give it a B plus. But that's still a way better schedule in my opinion,
right.
and even last year.
Now let me ask you this:
last year you had the D2.
Let me ask you this: is there any school that you would take off the schedule? I think somebody said that in the comments.
No, because if you look at it, right, the 3 schools that you have flexibility on is Grambling, TSU, and Campbell. All the rest, you got to play your SWAC schools.
So
why won't you want to play Grambling? U Jackson. They have a lot of buzz. They have 4 stars, 3 stars. They got all these Cali players. Why won't you want to play them? So
what is your
TSU? We know what TSU is about. They decided they're going to play the last year the Liberty Bowl, and then they're gonna end that. So go ahead.
What's your projected record? Now that you're looking at it, be realistic. What is your record for Jackson State for next season?
Man, that's a good question. I want to say, listen.
I mean, listen. If you think they're gonna go undefeated,
you know what? I'm gonna say right now, it's gonna be so what? 11 games. I'll say they go at least 9-2 minimum. I say they go 9-2. The Grambling game is gonna be tough, but even that FAMU game, because the thing is, right? If they don't start well, the FAMU could kick their ass. If they don't start right, so that game is really gonna be determined if they're ready or not, because that first game is not a cakewalk. So they don't have time to really warm up. They have to come.
Now,
I say 9-2. It could be 10-1, but I say 9-2. I'll be realistic.
I get it. Now, for me, right, as far as the FAMU game, I would give FAMU. First of all, FAMU has gotten considerably better, and we got to acknowledge that. We know that. But because they play North Carolina in Chapel Hill, like right before the one of the probably the biggest games of the year, I'm kind of iffy. I'm kind of iffy on FAMU.
I'm not hearing you.
Say it again. Carl, you there?
Yeah, you said okay. You say you kind of iffy with the FAMU.
Yeah, I'm kind of iffy.
Listen, I'm hearing you now. The reason why I say the FAMU, the reason why I say they could lose that game, and again, I'm not saying they will, but they could lose that game, is because FAMU, like, they have taste in their mouth. So they're coming in with a vengeance. And if Jackson State don't come with their A game, if they play the way they played last year, they lose it. They absolutely lose it. You know, and listen, I love Jackson State. And listen, I'm from New York,
right?
And I'm gonna fly down to Mississippi to watch New York. All right, I'm from the Northeast, and I'm gonna go to Mississippi. One of my friends who's the alum, she's on the finance committee of the school, and me and her, we probably go down there and watch a game, maybe homecoming or something.
All right, I get it, man. I get it. Hey, thank you so much.
I love what Dion is doing. I love I see the growth in the documentary. I see the difference in the players so far, and I can't wait to see these new players. And I think the old line, feel as though they're more intelligent, especially listening to someone like a Simi Mola. He seems like a very intelligent person.
Yes,
and I think a lot of people don't understand. Listen, the O-line, they have to be one of the most intelligent players on the field, apart from the quarterback and so on.
Absolutely.
Because they got to know how to move in sync. and it's like, remember, they're going against a lot of aggression. So it's almost as though they got to know when to use energy, when to use strength, when to use the energy against the D-line against them. So it's like, and like Dion said, he said something real smart. He said that it's not natural for football players to go out there and say, I'm going to play O-line. So a lot of that starts in the head. And that intimidation that the D-line be trying to give to you, you got to keep a cool head. And I think these guys, they're going to get it done. I'm hoping that Jackson State beats my 9-2, but I'm just going to be realistic. I'm going to say 9-2, but I'm hoping that they beat it. But I'm going to watch and see, man. But listen, I want to tell you, you're doing a great job. I love the content that you put out there. Keep putting out the content. I'm glad you got these call-in shows now. I watch your interviews with some of these players, and I'm really proud of you, man. I'm proud of you.
Hey, brother, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it, and thank you for the call.
All right, man. Good night.
Now, guys, because he kind of reminded me about something, right? There was a bar that Coach Prime said when talking to these kids, because he realizes that these kids ain't going – everybody's not going to go to the league. So when he said, what's your plan outside of football if football doesn't work out? And I think Trey Johnson – it was Trey Johnson, the left tackle, who said, I'm gonna get my truck driving license. I like the road. I'm gonna get my truck driver's license if I don't make it to the league. And he said, all right, that's cool, but what's gonna happen when you got to make this delivery, rain, sleet, or snow, and you don't get it done on time, right? And then you come with the my bad. You come with the my bad. And I was like, that's a bar, because in the real world, you can't just say my bad when you mess up. It's either you're going to get it done or you not. So I just love that bar that he gave to the offensive lineman, especially. You mess up. You don't make that delivery. Guess what? They're taking your keys and you fired. You out of there. He's really making these kids into young men. He's making these kids into young men. He's making them be professionals, right? Which is why, we've seen the training, right? The media training that he was doing with them in the spring from season 1. And now, you fast forward to the fall season, and when they're in front of the cameras for the Celebration Bowl or for the what do you call it? The Orange Blossom Classic, they know how to talk to these reporters, right? They even sound better. Remember, Warren Newman was like, and he was like, hey, can't say that. He was telling Warren, like, you don't need to say this. And now they sound a lot more mature and a lot more comfortable in front of the media when they do speak in front of them. So I'm just like, the way he's going about teaching these kids, you can't say they ain't coaching. You can't say they're not developing these young men. You can't say it now. A lot of people speculated it. You can't say it now because we see it. We see what's going on in the background. All right, Carla, you live. Talk to me.
Hey, this is Timona.
Timona, how you doing?
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you guys hear me? Hey, I just wanted to call in and just comment on a couple of things. I loved the show.
Thank you.
I don't think that they can get everything that they need to in 6 episodes, but the main thing I wanted to comment on was the O-line. Of course, we didn't get to see the drama behind Spencer because that was one of the main things for communication. We didn't get to see that in this episode, which I don't know if maybe they made them take that part out, but that was one of the main reasons for the discord within the O-line. And for me, I was always rooting for the O-line coach because I just felt like, not saying that it wasn't his fault, but the O-line wasn't the main core of recruitment for last year's recruiting cycle.
Right.
And this year we see the O-line and all the people that he's recruited, and I just think he's done an amazing job. And then Shadour is doing his due diligence with this spring with the O-line as far as they're eating out, they're building rapport, hanging out together, doing things together just so that they can all be on one accord so they can communicate effectively on that O-line when they're in the game. So it's going to be exciting to see that. That's all I really wanted to talk about.
Hey, no problem. Hey, Timona, thank you so much for calling in. Because I was, I'm glad that you actually brought up the Dylan Spencer situation, because that's something that I actually forgot about now that he's back at Missouri. And yeah, I think that would have been in episode 1, but we remember from season 1 the whole situation with what was the quarterback's name who's now at Bethune, but he was with Jackson State.
Quincy Casey?
No, not Quincy. The Jalen Jones. Remember the situation with him? He ended up leaving. They blurred his face out. They really kind of took him out of the documentary, and they didn't really talk much on him. They said a little bit, but they didn't talk much on him. So maybe the same thing happened with Dylan. Maybe, but yeah, I really wish they would have gotten into that a little bit more, because I wanted to really see what went on behind closed doors, because I do think he had a lot to do with that lack of chemistry in the offensive line. But thank you so much for the call, Timona.
All right.
Now, guys, I'm glad she talked about that. I'm glad she brought that up, because getting back to the offensive line, I wasn't mad at the offensive line coach. I never really wanted to put blame on the offensive line coach, because I can get the sense from him that he knows what he's doing. But sometimes when you don't have the talent, you don't have the talent. And not to say that those guys are untalented, but them as a group, as a collective group, they just didn't want it. And you saw that. Shout out to my boy Raw Truth Media, man. That's my dog right there. Y'all, please go check out his YouTube channel. He has some of the best content on YouTube when talking about anything, any hot topic in sports. Like, he is on it, right? But, just getting back to the offensive line, they didn't want it. And, the reason why I never really blamed an offensive line coach was one main reason. I experienced this personally. A few years after getting home from college, I decided that I wanted to coach at one of my local high schools in my area, and I did. Right, I was happy. I was like, man, I'm finna train these guys up. I'm finna develop these kids. I'm not far removed from the game. Like, it's gonna be easy. And then I get to the practice field, and I see the kids, not to talk bad about any kid, because I don't like doing that. But they ain't have it. Let me just say that. They didn't have it. And then you really see the challenge that you have as a coach when you have all these different drills and all these things that you design to try to get these players better and develop them, and they just don't do it. I kid you not. I had one freshman who I told him, hey, get in your 3-point stance. He was pointing to the ground like he didn't know where it was, like he was blind. Like, so it was frustrating. It was very frustrating, because you're, as a former athlete, you're able to do it. So when you tell a kid to do it, you expect it to be easy. And a lot of these kids just can't follow it. Like, they just can't do it. And now, it makes you look bad, and it's really not you. It's just the talent that you have around you. Some kids don't want to do it. Some kids can't. So I never blamed him for that. But, that's all I want to say on that. Caller, you live. Talk to me.
Hey, what's going on, man? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. What's your name?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Oh, my name's JD, man. I was just, I was in the chat, man. I just want to touch on a few things.
Mm-hmm.
First, regarding the O-line situation, I feel as though coming into Dion's first season with the when he was trying to, with the spring season, I feel as though, I could be wrong, but I feel as though he was trying to get more of the athletes to skill position, because you got to remember, he got the number one JUCO cornerback, which is Nugget in the country. Coming out of JUCO. So I think he was trying to get more of the athletes, and kind of maybe the O-line wasn't a bigger they wasn't focused on the O-line as much as they probably should have been, because maybe they didn't know the system they was probably trying to get into. So they was probably, it probably wasn't a big focus until they got into the fall season. They, realized that Shadour was taking a lot of hits, and I watched a few games, and you can kind of tell, like, he wasn't really a lot comfortable in the pocket, especially like when you watch the Celebration Bowl. Like, he wasn't comfortable sitting back there. The tackles was getting beat. Number 34 for South Carolina State, he was just coming off the edge like Dwight Freeney or somebody. You know what I'm saying? He was having a field day once South Carolina defense got to going and kind of exposed that O-line.
Right. So
now when I'm looking at, the new O-line, the additions, I see they getting another JUCO product from the O-line from, I think, Snow College, and they starting to get, some of these guys from maybe the transfer portal. So I think now, especially with the offense they got to run, which is the air raid, passing, getting the ball out fast to your playmakers. So that's what I think they can improve on. I don't really knock the O-line coach as of yet, because he's still because he don't even really have the piece. He didn't have the pieces in the fall season that he probably thought that he needed to be successful. So that's just my take on the O-line situation. But I do want to touch on the schedule, because I've seen that's been like a thing. And I love HBCU football, because I played HBCU football. I played in the CIAA, St. Louis College, St. Louis University in Raleigh, North Carolina. So, and I also played in North Carolina Central in the MEAC as well. I transferred. So I know a little, I know about the SWAC and the MEAC and stuff like that. But anyway, when I want to talk about Jackson State's schedule is, I'm from North Carolina. So I'm familiar with Campbell. Campbell's not really, to me, in my opinion, I graduated college back in 2020 now, so been a minute. But Campbell, they not really, to me, they not really all that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't follow them closely now, because I don't really have no affiliation with them. But I feel as though, to me, that Jackson State could have, not for a homecoming game, but could have got a little bit more better competition. Somebody like a James Madison or ODU. Or
wait,
Steven,
all right. Well, see, let me say this, right. With James Madison is going to FBS next year, so I don't know if that would have been a good move to schedule him for homecoming. Old Dominion is already FBS, so I don't know if you do that for homecoming, right? That's the thing. Right. I don't think they have to go top tier FCS. I just want to see where they stack up in year 2 with all this talent that they have versus like a mid or low tier FCS school. I'm fine with that. It's homecoming. Right. You don't want to schedule a top dog like that. So I just want to see where they schedule up. So I have no problem with Campbell. And you're right. They wasn't all that last year, but they were a young team. So we have to be fair in that aspect. And they've done a great job recruiting wise. But go ahead, continue.
Right. Yeah, but when I was just saying, I'm thinking just like a little bit better competition, maybe like a Stephen F. Austin out of Texas, or saying, somebody in that type of little pedigree. Because to me, like one thing I don't like personally, when they speak about HBCU football, they speak about it like it's in a different league. Like, I think people forget that, when they mention the SWAC and the MEAC, that these are FCS schools as well. Yes, they're HBCU. And when people talk about HBCU, they just say, oh, HBCU football, like it's a different league, like it's not a, it's like it's the NAIA or something like that, So I think a lot of people tend to forget that these are FCS programs, so they can still compete with FCS schools. Like I guess that's kind of like I want to see like these HBCUs go get top tier or mid tier competition in the FCS. With not that's not in the conference schedule. You know what I mean?
Right.
So. That's an outcome, because I feel as though, like, with the talent that Jackson State bringing in these other HBCUs like Grambling, FAMU, and I know the MEAC probably not making as big a splash as what they're doing in the SWAC, but as far as talent level, but I do want to see these HBCUs compete with these different type of schools. Even if they would have got an Elon out of North Carolina, they out of Burleson, North Carolina, I think they're a little bit better competition than what Campbell might have been, in my opinion. But that's kind of like, because I do feel as though these HBCUs can compete with these mid-tier SCS programs. That that'd probably be a homecoming game, but nobody probably really want to see that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just my take personally.
No, I get it, bro. I get it. And then thank you so much for the call, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Now, somebody asked something in the comment section. Who was it? Diamond. Do you feel Shadour had a good season as a freshman with that O-line based on his stats? And based on his stats, he did well to me. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. He had an amazing freshman year, right? Not on the back end. I think those last 2 weeks of the season, it wasn't that good statistically, but it wasn't really his fault either because that offensive line just completely unraveled. Like they were so up and down all year. But yeah, statistically, he was the second best quarterback. If I'm being honest, statistically, he was the second best quarterback in the SWAC, behind Akil Glass, which is great company to be around. So that's not a diss to Shadour by any means. But there were a lot of major statistical categories that Shadour actually led Akil in. It's just overall, Akil had the better season statistically. Now that Akil is gone, yeah, it's Shadour's time to shine. But he had a great freshman year. Like, even in his first game in the Orange Blossom Classic, when you look at the game, even though the game was 7-6, Shadour did not put that ball in harm's way week one at all. Not one time did he put that ball in harm's way. All of the throws were on target. All of the throws were only where the receiver can get it, right? And then you saw as the season went on, he got a little sloppy as he got, more comfortable. He got a little sloppy. And you kind of, as when that offensive line started unraveling the way that they did, yes, he got a little bit more uncomfortable. But I think from looking at him, I think Shadour got comfortable with being uncomfortable, if that makes sense. He knew his offensive line wasn't going to be, let's face it, he knew his offensive line just wasn't going to be much by the time the middle of the season got here. So you saw him tune his game a little bit to where he's bringing a dynamic that we didn't even know he could bring, right? He's elusive when extending the play. We've never really seen him because we know he's not a runner, so we've never really seen Shadour do what he did. So he brought that dynamic to his game, right? So yeah, I think he got comfortable with being uncomfortable as the season went on. It wasn't much he could do the last couple of weeks, right? And I think now that he has that revamped offensive line with Semi Moala, with Evan Henry, with Christian Henderson, Zach Bro, it's over with. It's over with. Because here's the thing. Unlike last year's offensive line, these are guys who actually have production and a list of statistical production from their past schools, right? Semi Moala was honorable mention for all Pac-12. Evan Henry won 80% of his matchups at ULM. Zach Bro is another guy who won the majority of his matchups at ULM. On top of Christian Henderson developing the way that he did, and now he's coming up from Quay Community College. I think that's how you pronounce it. So these are kids who have a long list of production at their former schools. No disrespect to the offensive linemen that are already there, but this is an upgrade. If I'm being honest, this is an upgrade. So now that you have this, now that you have the weapons, and now that you have Shadour, who's going to get better on a yearly basis. I mean, you traded with Tom Brady. You got all the access and all the money in the world. Of course, you're going to get better. If Shadour does not, first of all, he has to lead the SWAC in passing. There's no excuse for him not to. Like, no excuse. I'm sorry. I'm putting big expectations on him because I know we all have big expectations of what that offense can be. So if Shadour isn't leading the SWAC in passing yardage, touchdowns, efficiency, something is wrong. Something is very wrong because that offensive line that they got is going to allow him to have a field day all season. It's no excuses no more. But, I got off topic. But yeah, to answer your question, Diamond, yes, he had a phenomenal freshman year. Wasn't that good towards the back end, but overall, you have to count that as a successful year. You saw him make plays that you normally wouldn't see freshmen make. I mean, the kid won freshman of the year. I should tell you everything you need to know. I mean, the comeback versus Southern, right? The throws he made on that final drive, amazing. Yeah, he had a very successful freshman year. Just didn't end it how he wanted it to. how you would want to. But yeah, very successful. Glad to see you back. Hey, Ron, thank you. You know, life going life, you know, so I had a little bit of stuff going on, but we good now. We back. Everybody's fine. You know, it is what it is. So I'm happy to be back. And, you know, for a lot of you guys waiting for that part 2 to South Carolina State's recruiting class for the defensive side, yeah, it's coming this week. I'm back now. I can focus on making videos for you guys. It's coming back this week. We all good. Ain't nobody in the call line. So, hey, let me know. Any more? Y'all got questions for me? What's good? Let's talk. So, what are your thoughts used on the word idiot used by Coach Prime to describe Shadour from time to time? I mean, just want to compare you and Scotty's compare. Okay. All right. So me and Scotty like night and day on most topics. Because we do talk about this stuff in the group chat sometimes too. So that's his son, right? Like, first and foremost, that's just good coaching. I have absolutely no problem with this. If we can be honest, well, you know, seeing some of the clips from episode 1, Shallow does have a tendency to kind of, you know, go out of bounds sometimes, like with the stuff that he says, like saying, hey, you know, I'm sorry, that's just my game. There's certain moments where you just need to sit back and take coaching. Like, you got to know when to play and know when not to play. Honestly, I have no problem with that. I mean, we all got cursed out by coaches before. That's football. I think anybody who has a problem with it, you know, you a little bit of a brittle spirit, in my opinion. But that's just good coaching. I mean, plus, you know, you're gonna get ragged on a lot harder by your coach when he's your father, because he can't show favoritism. So yeah, not unfortunately, but yeah, you're gonna be got on a lot harder when you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, because you're the coach's son. He can't give you anything. So I have absolutely no problem with him calling Shadour an idiot, because the same way, you know, he yells at his sons when they need to be yelled at, he boosts them up, you know, when they do right. So it's a good balance. You know, I don't have a problem with him calling Shadour an idiot. Like I said, sometimes you need to yell at kids for them to really get it through their head. So I don't mind that. I definitely don't mind that. Hey, listen, Terry, you gonna stop disrespecting South Carolina State. All right, every time, like, let that thing go. Let that game go. Amari, hey, Mario, what's your question? Call in or type it in the chat. I get some of y'all don't want to talk. You know, I ain't gonna get on y'all for it. Let me know. But yeah, like, I have no problem with him being called an idiot. Like, that's just, if you played football, you've been called a lot worse in Little League. You feel me? So, you see, Coach Woodson calls me an idiot every day, but I don't get offended. But like I told Scott, I feel Shiloh is Deion's younger actor, like the showboating, flashing, etc. You know, facts. You know, like, I think Shiloh, like, because Shiloh acts the way he is, like, I do think Coach Prime sees himself, his hard-headed self in Shiloh, and he has to get on him a lot harder. He knows his son better than we do, right? So he knows how to talk to Shiloh to get him to respond. He knows how to talk to Shiloh to get him to realize, hey, I'm serious right now. I'm not Pops. I'm like, we're not cool. You messing up and you gotta chill. Like, you know, so I have no problem with it. You don't get offended by that stuff, because the only time as a player you should worry is when your coach isn't cursing you out, when he isn't calling you names, when he's not getting on you. That's when you should worry as a player. But when your coach getting on you like that, man, if you don't let that thing go, after show this Thursday, of course, I'm doing an after show for every episode, just so you guys know. So me, Scotty, I'm pretty sure other channels are doing it too. So if y'all want to like bounce between them, I have no problem with that. You know, y'all can check out mine later. It don't matter, you know. Hey, shout out to Blue Blades. Blue, hey, tell them straight up, bro. Leave them dogs alone. They ain't bothering nobody. Let the MEAC do what they do. All right, they humble. They don't talk. Leave them alone. For you give them more bulletin board material, because they would love to see y'all again. I've been talking to them. They would love to see y'all again, and they still really don't like y'all because they feel like y'all are cocky, which y'all are, if we're being honest. But cockiness is needed in sports. Oh, and please, y'all, I shouldn't have to tell y'all to subscribe to Blue Blood's channel. I mean, he's nothing but an encyclopedia. I mean, if you want to know anything about FBS football, FCS football, Blue Bloods literally has this man is never wrong. He's never wrong. See, when I first started YouTube, I wanted my channel to be FBS and FCS, and then I literally saw Blue Blood's channel, and I said, there's no way in hell I want to do this. Like, Blue is that guy, bro. Like, please subscribe to him. I say, are you doing more MEAC shows in the future? Yes, I am. Delaware State's recruiting class breakdown is coming. After that, it'll be Norfolk State. Yeah, they're coming. Also, I think I'm trying to get Zafir Kelly, now NFL hopeful, on the channel. Before the draft, I want to get him on the channel. We're gonna get to know him and everything like that. Trying to get Dyson Roberts on too, because I know y'all was asking for him. See if what's JSU's record. First of all, I need to wait till after spring ball, because I'm not gonna say undefeated. I'm not, if that's what y'all want me to. It's some things I gotta see first. I gotta ask around some people in the program how everything looking. I'm not just gonna give y'all an answer right now. Shout out Script. Oh, Script, I thought your show was still going on, bro. Hey, Script, thank you so much for being in here, man. Hey, facts. Blue Bloods is a boy wonder. This show, there's a reason why Script calls him Boy Wonder. I mean, dude knows everything. Everything. Like, I wanted my channel to be FCS, FBS. I saw his channel. I said, ain't no way in hell. Like, no. No. Blue Bloods, hey, I appreciate you, my guy. You already know. Hey, listen, don't get rowdy, because off script in here too. And I meant to say this. During that recruiting class breakdown for Jackson State, I saw y'all in the comments, and I was not gonna give y'all the time of day because y'all was really distracting me. Like, boy, Neon is still mad at Shiloh because all the money he had to pay the legal fees on the humanitarian action. Okay. Listen, if y'all don't know about that situation, I encourage you to do your own research. However, I do not talk about that stuff here, right? I've had somebody who was close to that incident actually email me and with all these things and everything like that about Shiloh. Listen, I don't talk about that here, bro. I don't talk about that here. I'm sorry. That's not what I do. I do not shed light on negative situations. You have to find another channel. Don't make me call in. I need that. I'm not giving you like, it's too early. I'm not finna say they undefeated because I truly don't know with Campbell. Even though they weren't that good last year, you just don't know. Like I said, my boy Cam Bent, right? He went to my high school, one of the fastest players from in South Carolina in his class, runs a 4.2. He's starting that receiver for Campbell. He's gonna be there. They got dogs. They got dogs. I just can't give you a prediction right now. All right. Let me say this, right? I don't think they lose more than I don't think they lose more than 2 games. I don't think they'll lose 2 games. 10-1. Fine, 10-1. I'll say it. 10-1, just like last year. 10-1 again. Do I know who that loss is going to be to? No, I do not. Right? Do I think they're going to go undefeated? No, I do not. And I hope I'm wrong, but I think 10-1. They win the SWAC, and they're back in the Celebration Bowl for the rematch, the sequel with South Carolina State, because I called it this year, and I'm going to call it again because I like being right. See if we need that position breakdown on Jackson State like you did last year, bro. You know what, Amari? All right. Okay. Hey, 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 listen. If y'all, to old boy who is just in the video, if you want to give that information to Scotty, do so. Like, please do. Like I said, I'm not gonna bring that up on this channel. But you know, you're welcome to go to any other outlet, YouTube outlet, like Offscript. You know, I think he'll be appreciative of that information, and he'll do with that information what he will. But you know, you ain't gonna get that over here from me. Shalomi just committed. Okay, so if Shalomi just committed, I don't see Coach Prime leaving anytime soon. Seriously. All right, check this out. I don't know what's going on in this comment section, bro. Help me get She Loves D. Can't even do it, my boy. You're going to have to hit her up on social media. You know, can't even do that. Can't even do that. I'm sorry. I'm not a good wingman because I'm assuming that's the way you meant it. But you're going to have to come at you yourself. I can't help you with that, my boy. Who is JSU's backup? All right, so check this out. Dodge Delosier, last time I checked, is still there. Thompson, I forget his first name. Grayson Thompson, he's still there. Grayson Thompson is a kid who put up very productive numbers out of high school in Texas. Dodge Delosier was actually a very good quarterback at the JUCO level. So, you know, it kind of, I don't really know why he chose Jackson State because he really could have went somewhere else and have been playing. I think he's good enough for that. But nevertheless, he is at Jackson State. And also, they did get a walk-on, a former walk-on at the University of Ohio State, who is also in that QB room as well. So there's a lot of suitable competition in Jackson State at the quarterback position. It is not just Shadour. I think, you know, you realize that injuries are a part of the game. Unfortunately, if your quarterback does get hurt, God forbid, we don't ever want to see any player, especially not Shadour, get hurt. But if he does, you're going to have to be ready because your season will undoubtedly go down the toilet if you do not have a suitable backup. So I think this is why, you know, you get Grayson Thompson. This is why you get Dodge Delosier. This is why you get the kid from Ohio State. Like, you need a suitable number 2 quarterback. So that way, God forbid, again, knock on wood, if Shadour does get hurt, now you have that kid who can come in, right, and, you know, just pick up your offense and continue like y'all never even stopped, right? So, yeah, that's pretty much the QB room. And there's another kid. I think he's related to Nugget, if I'm not mistaken, who's also in that room. He's a dual threat kid from what I've seen from his high school film, but I also believe that he's way down on that depth chart because of the QBs ahead of him with experience. I got your hopes up. Israel Carey. What are these JSU running backs looking like? Tyson Alexander is back. Right? Big fan of him. If y'all watched the spring season, you knew Tyson Alexander was that guy, especially in the Grambling game, you know, where he was breaking off of those big runs. I think he had a fumble, if I'm not mistaken, but he's just an overall dynamic athlete. I don't know what kind of injury he had that kept him out all last season, but he's back now. I've talked to him on social media. So he's there. Who else do you have? JD Martin is finally going to get more carries. Y'all know I have been one of the biggest advocates for JD Martin last year. He is just a dynamic back. I think JD Martin. You got Amari Matthews, the freshman who's coming in from Coach Prime's old school. He's there. A lot of suitable guys, actually. Caleb Jolivet. Caleb Jolivet is really going to be used all around that offense, right? But for those of you who do not know, Caleb Jolivet has been taking snaps at running back For those of you who don't know who Caleb Jolivet is, I did a video on him a couple of months back. He is a transfer from Sam Houston State. Now, he was a 3-star prospect coming out of high school, committed to Sam Houston State. He got hurt in the spring season, right before the season started. And, it was a knee injury. After that, he didn't really play football. He just focused on track. And he was a track guy. And now he's coming back to football. He had a redshirt year last year. Kid runs a 4.3, so he's very dynamic. If you want to know how he's been getting along at Jackson State, because I talked to him on and off, you can look at his highlight tapes that I have from my video. I forget the name of it. You can check out his highlight tapes from the video that I made on him, and you'll see just how dynamic of a player he is. And I think it's the receiver video I have for Jackson State, right? So you'll see how well he's doing, how well he's adjusting, the fact that he still has that 4.3 speed and just the acceleration to go with it. Like, dude is just a baby Tavon Austin. Hopefully they could use him right in that offense. And this is what I mean when I say they have an embarrassment of riches on that offense, because how are you going to get the ball to all these kids? On top of that, what history tells us, not many schools are able to use talents like that well. They're not able to incorporate talents like a Caleb Jolivet into that offense well. You rarely see it. Oregon had one with Jalen Red. Didn't really know how to use them, right? The only schools you really see using talents like that well is a West Virginia with Tavon Austin, or Akron with Dree Archer years ago. Like, it's not easy. Just because you got a kid who's that dynamic, you still have to find a way to incorporate him into that offense. So Caleb Jolivet, somebody I'm very excited about. That 4.2 speed, straight disrespectful. If he doesn't provide anything in the offense, he's going to provide something in that return game. But that's a guy who you got to look out for. Do you think Travis will be freshman of the year? I'm not going to give it to him. And I know it's easy to say that, right? Travis is going to be freshman of the year. You don't know what's going to happen. Is he going to be outstanding? Yes. I have no problem in saying that. He's the number 1 recruit in the country. Everybody's expecting him to be this dog. But you don't know. You don't know, because there's a lot of talented freshmen coming into the SWAC this year. What do you think about an air raid CFL? It depends, right? Like, are we talking Mike Leach in his air raid? Like, are we talking like a Texas Tech type air raid? It depends. But with the weapons that they have, this is going to be a season like no other. Now that the offensive line is revamped, now that he has time in the pocket, I'm assuming this is all based off of assumption, because as much as we would love to say, this offensive line is a guarantee locked to be better than last year's, we don't know. They can come out and just disappoint us even worse than last season. Do I think that's going to happen? Hell no, but it's a possibility. But, now that these guys are here and they're going to do what we think they're going to do, it's going to be up. It's going to be up. Like, there's no reason why this isn't the most explosive offensive team in HBCU football. No reason. All right, so I guess if y'all don't got any more questions, I'm going to get up out of here because still got a lot going on. I'm good now. Like I said, for those of you who came in late into the stream, everything's fine now. I still got some things I need to take care of, but I'm back. I'm making videos. So expect that the part 2 to the South Carolina State recruiting class is coming. After that, because I'm doing MEAC right now, I'm not even focusing on the SWAC. After that is Delaware State. After that, Norfolk. Then I'm going to look into North Carolina Central. So just be on the lookout for that. Hey, Lee, yeah, you missed it. You can always run it back. That's what it's here for. But I still appreciate you for coming in now. What else do I know? What else do you know you've been holding out? I can't tell you. Like, yes, I know things. I can't tell you, my guy. Because then that breaks the trust to the people who tells me. So I can only tell you what I know when it's able to happen. But just know, y'all, it ain't over yet. It ain't over yet. Just know that. The fireworks ain't over yet. Jerry Jones, I'm the best DB in the ACC. Hey, my boy, please send me your film, because you know what? Actually, I did see you on my boy Scripps channel on one of his lives. So, hey, send me your film, bro. I want to look at it. You know, I haven't watched much of Florida State this season. I would love to see, because maybe you are the best DB in the ACC, right? So please send me your film. Let me see you, bro. I want to see how you get down in the ACC. So please send me that. What have you? All right, let me end this right now. Before I even end this live, let me end this right now. Y'all aren't getting him. Y'all, if you get that running back from Alabama, listen, I will come over here and I will apologize to y'all. I swear to God I will, but y'all aren't getting him. I mean, if I'm being completely honest with you, because you know it's over now, recruiting is pretty much done now. You could have had Sivion Wilkerson, the top running back in the MEAC. He's now at West Virginia. He's Power 5 now. And get this, because I talked to him. He was literally waiting on Jackson State to offer him. He wanted to commit to Jackson State. Jackson State did not do it. Why? They felt like they were already good at running back, especially with Tyson Alexander coming back. I think the only other running back they took was Amari Matthews, and he committed way earlier before the season even started. He comes from Coach Prime's high school. So y'all aren't getting him, and that's because Jackson State is not looking for a running back. They think they're good at running back, and I think y'all are too. Y'all don't need him. Now, you know, I get holding out hope for Zach Evans back when he was in the transfer portal, right? You know, because who wouldn't have wanted him, but, you know, it didn't happen. Y'all aren't getting him. Y'all aren't getting him. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. You know, I'm not trying to be mean when I say this, but y'all aren't getting him. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But, yeah, you could have Sivion Wilkerson. He's Power 5 now. You didn't offer him. That should tell you everything you need to know when it comes to JSU pursuing running backs. They feel like they do not need another one. What other SWAC schools impress you with recruiting? Valley, off top, Mississippi Valley. Valley and A&M, right? And the reason why I say Valley is because Coach Dancy is doing so much with so little to get the number one dual threat quarterback in the country, to get that Leonard Fournette type running back, who I did a video on, very big fan of his, to get him and a couple of other running backs as well. I cannot wait to see what Valley does next season. This is big, right? To get a quarterback who's a better thrower than the one you had last year. Yeah, no, they're going to be legit. And you have to say Alabama A&M because they address the needs on defense. Like, they were able to address these needs and do it in a major way, on top of continuing to stack that quarterback room and replenish those weapons at receiver that you lost, right? Because what's the kid's name who he committed to Bowling Green? I still don't know why he made that move. I'm not a fan of that move at all, but I wish him nothing but the best, right? So you're able to replenish. You're able to replenish your weapons. You're able to have the best quarterback room in the SWAC. Even though, if I'm being honest, I think Quincy Casey takes that job just because the boy's arm talent is just elite. Like, straight up elite. So I think he takes that job. That's just me. But yeah, I think they good. The fact that you went out and you got 13 defensive backs, and you got dogs on defense now. Yeah, you know, you have to include Mississippi Valley. You got to include A&M. Everybody did a great job. It's easy to say Grambling, but no, A&M, Valley. I think those two schools, especially out of the whole SWAC, stuck out to me in recruiting. What about the tight end from Georgia? All right, somebody, I'm not gonna go back and highlight it. So the tight end from Georgia, I actually read, and maybe if Blue's still in here, he can tell y'all in the comment section. But from what I read in the article that I read, what's his name? Eric Gilbert, not coming I think didn't he choose to stay at Georgia or return to Georgia for at least another season? Even if he's not, y'all aren't getting him. You're not getting him. That's why you got Key Mullins, Jency Riley still there. You're not getting him. HBCUs draft to the USFL because the USFL draft was today. Okay. Nigel Davis, Norfolk State, Tennessee State, Joshua Tyler. Thank you, Blue. Thank you. Eric Gilbert is not going anywhere. I knew I read the article when I think they said he was, like he just wasn't going. That was the gist of the article. Yeah, he's not going anywhere. I know y'all say Quavo called Coach Pound about him or whatever. He's not going anywhere. You're not getting the guy from Alabama, that transfer running back. You're not getting Eric Gilbert. Y'all are fine. Like, this is what I need y'all to understand. I get, y'all are getting this talent in an abundance now, so you want to just be greedy and think you're going to get a 5-star here and a 5-star there. Y'all are fine at that position. You have Key Mullins. You have Jency Riley, who you were very high on back in the spring. Y'all are fine at tight end. You're fine. You don't need Eric Gilbert. It would be nice to have him. It ain't going to happen. Right? You'll find that running back as well. Hey, Bulldog 1896. Listen, because I know you asked this question earlier. I don't think you've seen when I said it. That's coming this week. I had a lot going on, but I'm back now. I've been working on that video, which is why it's going to be the first one that I drop. But yeah, that's coming this week. So be on the lookout for that. Too much money and enough money. I'm just saying facts, but I'm just saying y'all are fine. All right. Maybe let's wait till after spring ball, see what your needs are, and then you go back to, having that energy of we need this guy and that guy. But right now, y'all are good. Y'all are good. Who in the MEAC impressed me so far? So the easiest thing to say would be South Carolina State, right? It's the easiest thing. That is my favorite class over a lot of SWAC schools, if I'm being honest. So yeah, I could say South Carolina State, but I've talked about them enough, right? Outside of South Carolina State, it's Howard. It's Howard. Not even Delaware State. It's Howard. They were able to get multiple 3-star prospects, led by Mr. Eden James himself. Eden James is the son of Edgerrin James, the Hall of Fame running back for the Indianapolis Colts, right? And Edgerrin James actually told a news article that he guarantees that his son is going to be one of the top freshmen in HBCU ball simply because he's been teaching his son everything that he knows. He's teaching his son the nuances of the running back position, the ins and the outs. He's trained with his son. He's worked out with his son. He's been very hands-on in Eden's development. So he's guaranteeing that Eden is going to be this dog when he steps on the field for Howard. So look for him. Look for Howard to contribute right away. Can you do a Quay Davis video? He's already on my wide receiver video for Jackson State. Thoughts on JSU playing Campbell? Hey, I love it. I love it. All I wanted to see was Jackson State play some type of FCS school that wasn't a SWAC or MEAC school. Like, I wanted to see how they stack up. You didn't have to play the top teams. A mid-tier or a lower-tier team is fine. That is a legitimate opponent. I just wanted to see how they stack up. I didn't care who it was. So I can't wait for that game. I love that they did that on homecoming. I think that game is going to be absolutely lit. I think, the game is going to be packed. Well, it's homecoming, so of course it's going to be sold out regardless. But I'm just glad that a D2 school ain't on that schedule. Because if I'm being honest, if I see Travis Hunter Travis Hunter can make a Odell catch versus a Lane or a Division II school, and I'll just be like, so he's supposed to do that. I can see Kevin Coleman get 300 yards, right? And I just be like, I don't care. Like, he's supposed to do that because it's a D2 school. So as long as they aren't playing Division II schools, I'm fine with it. I just couldn't get excited at seeing any of those kids making plays versus a Division II school. Like, you can't have that for these kids' draft stock. Blue says Campbell is going to be a sleeper in the Big South, so don't overlook that game. Thank you. Thank you so much, Blue, for that insight. So that's not even that's another thing. I love that y'all went out and actually scheduled us like a sleeper team for your homecoming. You didn't take the easy route. You have one of the most talented rosters in the FCS, so I can't wait to see y'all versus them. You got to come to homecoming. All right, so listen. Orange Blossom Classic, I'm going to be at. The max I'm going to be at is 3 games just because I'm going to be in Orangeburg at South Carolina State at their games too since they 2 hours away from me. So listen, the Orange Blossom Classic, I'll be there in Miami across from Script in blue because y'all know they committed to FAMU. I'm not sitting with them boys. I'm not sitting with y'all. All right, I don't like that y'all made that move still. All right, so I'm going to be there. And I was either thinking about going to the Grambling game or homecoming. Y'all can let me know which one is going to be more lit, right? I'm just unsure right now. So I'll see. 3 games at the most, but 2 games is really ideal for Jackson State because if y'all make it to the Celebration Bowl, I still want to go to that. And I can't request off too many days, too many trips, like so many weeks in between. So y'all let me know. Orange Blossom Classic is 1. So either I'm going to come to that Grambling game or I'm going to come to that homecoming. Y'all decide that. I'll put a poll up. Just let me know. Me and my girl, we're going to be out there. You see, is somebody in the call line? No. All right, bro. So I'm about to get up out of here, man. Hey, thank y'all. Thank y'all so much for watching the CFL podcast. Thank you for checking in on me. I know Blue off script, y'all texting me. I really do appreciate y'all for doing that through that trying time that I had last week. Yo, what he said? Nah, slide out to homecoming with me. We can get those sideline passes. Hey, what you saying, Blue? What you say? Hey, listen, if we can get those sideline passes, I'm in there. I'm in there for homecoming because that right now, that's really sounding like the move. Hold on, somebody on hold. Carly, you live, talk to me.
Hey, CFL, don't hang up yet, baby.
What's good, man?
What's the word?
What's good, man?
No, they don't do that yet. Don't end that show yet, man.
What's going on? Talk to me.
All right, hey, I just need your prediction, man. What you got to you going this year?
The record.
What's their record this year?
I think it's like last year. I think they lose 1 game. I think they lose 1 game.
To who?
See, that's tricky. That's tricky. I don't know because they're.
It ain't tricky. To who?
I can't pick. Man. Listen.
Tricky, bro.
It's tricky. I do think they lose 1 game. I think a track game can happen. And listen, I know y'all want me to say undefeated. I don't know yet. Like schools have gotten better in the SWAC.
I just want to know your prediction, man.
All right, listen. Y'all have gotten even with other SWAC schools getting better in recruiting, y'all are still that much more ahead of other schools because of the depth that you have on that team that haven't played yet, right? So, yeah, I have y'all losing 1 game, and if I have to pick who, yeah, I'm not going to tell you.
Think about it.
I'm not going to tell you.
You don't have to think about that. I don't see FAMU because FAMU didn't get no better.
Uh-huh.
I don't care what y'all said. FAMU did not get no better. Grambling, possibly if everything works out for them. But everything got to work out for Grambling.
Uh-huh.
Then you got A&M. I don't see A&M beating them because their O-line ain't getting no better. They got a whole bunch of DBs in the O-line. They got 1 O-line.
Wait, who was that? Who was that you said that didn't get any better? Who was that last school?
Alabama A&M. And
Interesting.
Campbell got a whole bunch of young recruits. Them the only 4 games I give you if you even remotely think that Jackson State gonna lose.
So you telling me you think they're going undefeated?
I don't see. Do you agree they'll be the favorite in every game?
Yeah, they're going to be the favorite, of course. Of course they're going to be the favorite, but I don't think they're going to defeat it. Listen, Blu-ray, I'm not.
That's my answer. I'm a bet man, baby.
I'm not telling y'all who. Like I know y'all want this answer from me, but y'all really do hold people accountable. And like y'all memories is just insane. Like I'm not giving y'all that prediction. Just know I think there is a trap game that y'all can lose. Right? That's just that. I don't think y'all going undefeated. I pray to God that I'm wrong because I don't want y'all to lose any games. But yes, I think you'll lose one, and I think you'll still win the SWAC, and I think you'll still make the Celebration Bowl. But yeah, I think you lose one game. I'm sorry.
Okay. Who's the trap game?
You trying to fish for this answer from me, my boy? I'm not giving it to you. I'm not giving it to you. Listen, just know, because anybody can be a trap game, right? I do not think that y'all are going to go undefeated.
Y'all underestimating that side of Travis Hunter.
Nobody's underestimating you. Nobody's underestimating you, right? But there's still questions. There's still questions. Yes, you have Nugget on one side. Yes, you have Travis on the other. You still got Shiloh, who's concerned with coverage. Say it again.
Who in the SWAC can guard Travis Hunter or Coleman?
Who in the SWAC can guard Travis Hunter or Coleman?
Yeah. Who in the SWAC can match up? Even Quay. Who can match up with them? Them three alone. That's not including the other receivers.
Okay, so clearly I don't know none of these kids' names by heart because they're not stars, right? But we saw DBs last year went toe-to-toe with Malachi Wadman. You know, we saw Malachi Wadman be shut down for most of the game. We saw Keith Corbin, you know, be stopped before as good as he is. So listen, don't you putting all your eggs in one basket with freshmen. You putting all your eggs in one basket with freshmen, right? Don't go down that road.
These ain't ordinary freshmen, man.
Yeah, they're not ordinary freshmen, but they're still freshmen. They're still freshmen. Shadour was a 4-star out of high school. He's capable of having bad games. There's no guarantee that Kevin is going to come out and give you a 150-yard production in week one. Travis either. There's no guarantee for this.
I don't think he's going to give that. Personally, it's too many of them for that to happen. But amongst all of them, it's personally too much talent at the receiving position. I don't see no team having 3 to 4 DBs that can match up with them.
Yeah, there is.
Because that's what you're gonna need. You want to have 3 to 4 that can match up, or you want to have a dog there that's fucking defensive line.
There's too much talent at the receiver position. Yes. What y'all don't realize is, as great as your class is, everybody ain't gonna hit. I'm sorry to break the news to you, my guy. Everybody's not gonna hit. You're gonna have bust in every class, right? So I'm not calling Kevin a bust. I don't think he will be, and I damn sure ain't calling Travis a bust. But somebody ain't gonna be who you think they is, which is why I'm telling y'all, like, do not put your eggs in one basket just because y'all look good right now. Like, everybody's not gonna hit, my guy.
I agree with you, but can we agree that receiving core is just in the SWAC is going to become different?
Yes, I can agree with you there. I can agree.
So the only thing you not sleeping on, but have doubts about is the O-line, which I agree with.
You said the only thing I'm sleeping on is the O-line?
Correct. Not sleeping on, but have doubts about his O-line.
I don't have doubts about the O-line anymore. I just have to wait and see. I'm not completely sold on them. I think they're better than last year, but I still have to see because the energy we have for this year's line is the same energy we had for last year's offensive line. That was the only part of the team that I was wrong about, like dead wrong about. So, yeah, I got to wait with them.
Anything is better than last year's O-line. That shit was horrible. So we can agree with that.
Hey.
That was bad. Last year, all I was bad.
Say it again.
But with that being said, saying they got to upgrade the O-line, I'm going to ask you, who's stopping their offense?
Say it. I can't hear you, bro.
With the addition of Tyson Alexander.
Who's stopping the run?
Who's gonna stop their offense?
You want me to say it?
I'm curious to hear what you about to say.
You really want? I'm not gonna do you like that. I'm not gonna do you like that. I gotta let you go, bro.
No, go ahead.
I gotta let you go, bro. I gotta let you go, my guy.
Is that who it is?
Huh?
It's got to be South Carolina State. That's
Nah. It was actually plenty of schools that had y'all in check last year. But listen, I gotta let you go, my boy. Thank you for calling in.
For sure, man.
All right. Hey, because I don't want to be disrespectful. It was plenty of schools that really held y'all in check for the majority of the game last year until y'all were able to squeeze it out. I mean, even Delta State had y'all by the ropes, right? So let's not go there. Hey, Blue, you see this man trying to bully your ass. Listen, I'm not giving y'all that answer, dog. I'm not giving y'all that answer. Let's see, we got another caller. Caller, you loud, talk to me.
Hello. Yeah, I'm calling to see what do you think about Jackson State and FAMU. Do you think it's going to be a close game like it was last year, or do you think Jackson State's going to blow them out?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I do not think it's going to be a blowout. And that doesn't mean that maybe it's like a 2-score margin, right? But I don't think it's going to be a blowout for FAMU. We thought that last year, and look what happened. FAMU has gotten better too. FAMU has gotten transfers. FAMU has gotten a dynamic freshman, right? My God, that kid's name just keeps eluding me. But he's going to be an Xavier replacement when Xavier leaves. Right, so you have him. You got the transfer running back from Georgia State, on top of Jennings coming back, so that running game is going to be there. Isaiah Land returns, right? FAMU is going to be just fine. The only question is just like last year. The only question is that quarterback, right? If Jeremy Musa is the guy, you're looking at a dogfight again, week 1. The only reason why I don't think it's going to be a 7-6 type of game is the fact that they really did messed up by scheduling North Carolina week 1. I get it. It's a money game. Those kind of things are needed for some schools. But the fact that you scheduled that right before the Orange Blossom Classic, which is a big game, the only game that kept y'all from the Celebration Bowl last year, I think is a big mistake. So, yeah, I think Jackson State gets the win just for that reason alone. I would have still took Jackson State regardless, but it won't be a blowout. I don't think it'll be a blowout.
Okay, and my last question is, who do you think they get for the 2023 recruiting class if it's not too early?
Who, FAMU?
No, Jackson State.
Jackson State. So they're going after a bunch of kids right now, right? Jackson State is actually shooting their shot with 2023 kids even more aggressively than they did last year. And you see it on social media. They're going hard trying to duplicate the success from the past 2 seasons. As far as telling you who I think they'll get.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh, okay. Good. Hey, my boy. All right, so listen. As far as thinking who I think Jackson State will get, it's too early to tell. It's too early to tell, right? They're shooting the shot aggressively. You don't know how it's gonna go, right? But yeah, I can't tell y'all who I think they'll get right now. It's way too early, bro. It's way too early to make that prediction. A lot of kids are bringing up Jackson State. And a lot of kids are happy that Jackson State has offered them, but it's too late. That's what I would have said. But your boy hang up a little bit too early. All right, let me get to this last caller, man. All right, David, you live. Talk to me.
You there?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
I can hear you. What's your name?
Yeah, I just called in, man. I really enjoy your show, but you need to give Quay Davis some love, bro. He's going to be the best wide receiver in the SWAC freshman of the year. I'm calling it right now.
I've been giving Quay love since day one. I'm the one who broke that news on him committing to Jackson State first. I was the first one on that. I give him his love, right? I talk to him on social media. I know what he can do. I'm a big advocate for Quay Davis. But, I'm just saying, like, to say that there's nobody out here who can stop him, like there's nobody in the SWAC, I think y'all are, you're selling the SWAC a little bit short there. Everybody gets at least contained occasionally. But yeah, like I don't sleep on Quay Davis, man. Like I was very high on him when I announced him coming to Jackson State. He's gonna do big things.
I'm gonna ask you this question. I'm gonna let you get back to your podcast real quick. Because I know you know your football from talking to you. But this is my question for you. When they line up 4 wide and they have Coleman, right? Then they have our boy from Florida State out there. Then they have Quay Davis. And then you put Malachi Wideman back there and you put Shadour in the shotgun. Pick your poison, baby. Nobody gonna be within 30.
Yeah. Listen, I agree with you. Pick your poison, right? However, this is why I say, even though I'm excited for this offensive line, I have to see them I have to see them in action, because we said the same thing last year, right? Pick your poison with the receivers that y'all had last year, but because you barely had time, it just wasn't able to work out. And, like I said just a little bit earlier, unfortunately, and this speaks to the recruiting class, the receiving class as well, somebody, unfortunately, is going to be a bust. I hope I'm wrong. I pray to God I'm wrong. But somebody in this class, maybe a couple people in this class, are going to be bust. We just don't know who it's going to be yet. So the same way we thought Joshua Lanier was going to be the top guy in that receiving corps, didn't turn out to be the case. We thought Warren Newman was going to slash defenses up the seam, even though he contributed greatly, didn't turn out to be the case. I just can't give it to y'all because you look good on paper. You feel me? It all depends on how that offensive line looks. And with this new offensive coordinator that you got in the offense that you're going to run, right, you need time for those plays to develop. A lot of those plays y'all going to run next year. Vaughn, thank you so much for bringing up Trevante Rucker. I always forget him. A lot of these plays that you're going to run next year, it's going to work out in a major way if that play has time to develop. Who does that rely on? The offensive line. If y'all have time, it's going to be a great thing for you, but I have to see that offensive line in action. I can't just give it to y'all. My boy, you back on?
I just want to tell you, Quincy Casey trash as fuck.
All right. Okay. I'm not gonna laugh at that. We don't do that. Listen, Quincy Casey is not trash by any means. I don't know what would make you think that, my boy. We're not really negative on players on this channel. Like that's not what we do here. All love, but we don't get negative about players like that. Quincy Casey is far from trash. I don't know where y'all get that from, right? I think hey, Blue, shut up. Listen, Quincy Casey is far from trash, right? I think when Shadour got there and the whole beef between him and Shadour started, y'all kind of took sides and you felt like you had to uplift one and down the other, and it doesn't have to be the case. We can uplift one guy without downing the other. Quincy isn't trash. Quincy has exceptional arm talent. I need y'all to know that. If he gets the opportunity, all he needs is the opportunity to start. That's it. That's all Quincy needs. That's why I honestly think he'll win that job at A&M, even with that quarterback from Miami coming in. If he's able to do so, you're going to see him lead Alabama A&M like I'm not going to say like you've never seen it done before, because that's what Akil did. But you'll see him take that offense to new heights. Like he's not trash. Not trash. And, you know, a lot of y'all are Shadour fans, so you kind of feel that way about Quincy. But please keep in mind, right, you can uplift one guy without downing the other. Okay? We don't have to down Quincy Casey. My boy is far from trash. Like, far from it. Hey, Carly, you live? Talk to me.
Hey, I ain't mean to hang up like that. My fault. I thought you were done. But I have a question.
Yes, sir.
How big do you think the offensive coordinator's play calling will be for the offense? Like, do you think he'll need to make adjustments, or do you think they have so much firepower with the wide receiving core? The O-line got better. Shadour has another year. Do you think all he needs to do is really just throw out about 10, 15 plays and it'll be fine, or what do you think?
Repeat the first part of that question again. I'm sorry. I couldn't even read in the comments.
How big do you think the offensive coordinator's play calling will be for the JSU offense? Do you think he'll need to make adjustments, or do you think they have enough firepower to just really just go out there and play?
So here's the thing, right? As far as the adjustments thing, we're not going to know the adjustments that needs to be made until they actually play somebody, get hit in the mouth, and then, you know, we'll see how they respond to that. But I think the play calling is going to be exciting. It's going to be big. You're going to see a lot of shots taken because unlike last year, right, you realize that the receiver core that you have this year looks even better than the one you had last year. So I think with this new offensive coordinator coming from Nevada, who was able to put up really good numbers, I think he knows that he's going to have to air that thing out, be a lot flashy with his play calling. And, you know, he's going to go big or go home. He realizes the talent that they have. And, you know, his play calling is going to emulate that. So we'll see. But, yeah, I think they're going to be I think they're going to go big or go home with that play calling.
All right. And then another question is, do you think the offensive line really got better? Because I saw some of the film. Those guys, man, they just look tall and big, and that's it.
So, because I feel like I know who you're talking about when you say that. And for some of those guys, yeah, I can definitely see why you would say that. But those kids have production, right? Like Simi Moala has production at Utah, a Power 5 conference. He has the production. ULM, those two guys from ULM, Zach Bro, Evan Henry, they have the production. They've been graded. They've won the majority of their matchups last year, which includes Jackson State that they played last season. Now, when talking about Jasper Frias, right, we know he was a big name pickup, the big building of a kid from Germany, right? I can see why you would look at him and think, you know, he just looks big and tall, but is he really that good? Because he hasn't really had time to learn the position like other offensive linemen have. You know, the kids from Germany, you feel me? He played the game a lot later. So, yeah, he's not going to look as polished as other guys. So when looking at him, I see why you have that concern. But, yes, I do think they will be better than last year because of their history, their track record, their resume. That's what tells me they're going to be better than last year's squad.
Okay, thank you, man. And I watch your channel a lot. Just keep up the good work.
Thank you. Hey, Timon, thank you so much for reminding me. Akani coming from Snow College, right? Like their production is up there. So yes, I do think that they're going to be just fine and better than last year. I thought you were at NC State, man. I thought I know that you were talking. Hey, y'all boys, something else. All right, so listen. If y'all don't have any more questions or calls, I'm going to get up out of here. It's 11 o'clock. I ain't even noticed that. My girl is texting me. So I guess, you know, I've been on here too long. But listen, thank y'all for joining this live, man. I really do appreciate it. Like I said, a lot of stuff I had going on last week. I'm good now. Expect more videos. I will be doing a call-in recap show for every episode. So catch me again Thursday. You know, and we're going to be all good, man. Hey, but with that being said, You're watching the CFL podcast. I really do love and appreciate y'all support. I'm out. Peace. Hey, Blue, you damn right, bro. Evan Henry is going to be that guy. Evan Henry is going to be that guy. I personally don't know.